virtual camera. Are we going? Yep, I think we're live. I can't see anything here. So I don't know if it's working or not.
People.
Yeah. We'll take the cover down and say hello.
Hi.
He is eating revolting, disgusting meat while I am...
No, it's not. It's delicious meat. People don't listen to my father.
People don't listen to your father. That is true. So we will see what happens. It says YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. So you may buffer, but your hows ever will all live eventually.
We're live.
We are actually live. I think I've not messed this up this time. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, so welcome to the third episode of Redmond's Football Report. Redmond, how's the football been this week?
So it's been good. We've done it twice, and just a little peeking on it. We're going to tell what we thought the scores were going to be, and games that's going to happen, and what the games that went in our last episode. How did it went?
How did they go? Okie doke. So we don't have a goal of the week or a game of the week because it's been a busy midweek. Midweek we're probably not going to do that. We'll do the weekends though, because I think we generally get a better idea of those either way. However, what we're going to do first is we're going to have a look back at the week that's been and what we predicted and what happened and what didn't happen as we look at the results. So I'm going to move this so we're both in the picture. So a lot of football happened during the week. What games do you remember us watching?
I remember we watched the Man City against Man United.
That's right. What else did we watch? It may not be up there necessarily.
I don't remember.
We saw highlights of a few games. We didn't get as many games in as obviously we'd like. I managed to see a small bit of Boca against Santos. That was an incredibly boring game, which was made better by the fact that I was watching when I was doing a Zoom meeting. That was an incredibly boring Zoom meeting. Sorry if you were at that meeting, but it was really, really sad. A sad meeting, but also very tedious. As you can see, we both predicted River Plate to win. I reckoned a draw in the Boca Santos game. There was one. River got hammered at home by Palmeiras.
3-0.
Yep. So it looks like they're back in their first Copa Libertadores final since way back many centuries ago, or actually the beginning of this century. Boca and Santos have to play in, I think it's in Sao Paulo. So that's all to play for yet. In the EFL Cup final semis, it's actually I was wrong the last day. I said it was a two-legged thing. It was only the one leg this year for obvious reasons. And City won 2-0. I was quite impressed with them, to be honest. It felt like they were always playing in second gear. But it's hard to judge games without a crowd in some senses these days. Fabinho's goal was fantastic, though. What did you think?
It was a good game. 2-0 Man United.
Man City. As you predicted. First leg of the game in... Actually, that's inaccurate. Redmond did not predict both sides would win. He predicted Motagua. I predicted CD Olimpia. Olimpia won at 3-1. They are on course to, I think, register an incredibly good season. I can't see them losing the next leg, but we'll talk about that later. They won that 3-1. And double disaster for Newcastle Jets fans. The women's team went a goal up. They conceded 2 to Sydney. Then the men's team conceded 2 more to Western Sydney before rounding off what was presumably a double header with another goal. So they scored at the beginning and the end of the day, but conceded a lot in between.
I thought Jets would win.
I thought you did. I did too. Pyramids against National Bank turned out to have been a scoreless, boreless game. No scores in that game that was played today. They've got the results there for the women's games in Spain this week. No real surprises. Barcelona hammering Espanyol. Vallecano and Atleti managing a draw, and Real Madrid in their first season up, getting the win over ordinary Madrid. I think I might have the scores wrong. I think Betis beat Sevilla. Either way, it's all there to be found out. And I also got things wrong when we were talking about Al Jazeera against Al Wehdat. Wehdat were the team that was 9 points in front, and now they're 12 points in front. So the league is theirs. I don't know if we talk about Fenerbahce against Alanyaspor, but either way, Alanyaspor didn't manage to do it. Fenerbahce now second in the league. Besiktas having won during the week. It's heating up, and it looks like it's being the usual three. Istanbul Başakşehir disappeared. Fans of Erdogan, sorry. I'm not a fan of Erdogan, so I'm not sorry. Ha 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 ha. And finally, in the two big name games involving Redmond's favourite teams, or some of Redmond's favourite teams, AC lost 3-1 to Juventus. The league is wide open again.
And I was so close to getting the exact score. Just after AC Milan scored one more goal, it would be exact.
Yes, which is, of course, the only important thing.
You thought it would 1-1.
Similarly, he reckoned a 3-2 win for Barcelona. I reckon 3-0. He reckoned 3-0. I reckon 2-1. It was 3-2. And Messi scoring twice in that game. And Chiesa scored twice for Juventus as well, with two setups from Paulo Dybala. Who's a Paulo Dybala fan in this house? Actually, we both are. Anyway, sit your arse down and we will have a look at our previews for the weekend. I desperately want to try and keep this into 20 minutes, but I also desperately want to talk about some of these games, because fingers away from your nose, you filthy beast. Every single time. We'll spin around. First, I'll start with the boring game, but a game that's actually started, which is Vllaznia against Teuta Durres. These two teams are at the top of the league after about 12 games. I think there's something like 30 games to be played. So Vllaznia are leading. I fancy Vllaznia to win. This is Albania. This is not a place that is world-renowned for its football, but it's interesting to have a look at these other leagues, because, to be honest, the way I look at football, every team, with some notable exceptions, are somebody's favourite team. Redmond, let me get this right so that your noise is in here properly as well. Vllaznia against Teuta Durres. Let me see if I can get the league table up for you. Yeah, it's still 0-0, 8 minutes into the game. Vllaznia are about 6 points clear after 12 games of Teuta Durres. I'm sorry for fans of these teams. I'm mispronouncing the names. So what do you think, Redmond? Who do you think is going to win this? Lecce not playing. Vllaznia? Vllaznia?
Vllaznia.
Or Teuta Durres?
Teuta Durres.
Okay, I can't see Vllaznia not winning. They have all the power. Let's jump across time and let's go into the future. Let's go to Sunday, the 10th. Late night football. We've got two games, one in North, one in South America. From starting off, we'll go look at the bottom of the table. Colo play Redmond. Please, could you behave? It's been one of those days. They're all one of those days. Colo, who finished second last season, are playing Everton in the Chilean top division. Everton are just outside of the places for participation in the Copa Sudamericana. Colo are bottom. This is a team that was second last year. This is a team that is the most successful team in Chile. This is a team that are well known around the world. They've won World Club Championships. I think they've won the Libertadores 3 times, I think. I want to say 3. I'm going to say 3. I think they've won it 3 times.
And they're bottom.
And they are bottom. Sunday night. I think this is the longest season ever, by the way. There, it started in January last year in Chile, and it finishes, they expect, in February. 26 games. The team that is above them by 2 points has played 25. It's looking likely for that Colo are going to get relegated. I'm aghast that this can be happening to one of the world's great teams. Redmond, Colo against Everton. What do you make of it?
3-0 to Everton.
Is definitive stuff. 3-0 to Everton, he reckons. I'm going to go for a draw. Colo need to be coming back. They've had a very poor season. We're going to have to see what's going to happen there.
And hopefully can we do that blue game?
We're going to get to that in a little bit. Okay. We'll talk about those in a while.
And our next game is Persepolis and FC Fiorentina. Sorry, people.
CD Olimpia against FC Motagua. So this is the Honduran Cup final. We were talking about it last week. We were talking about the semi-finals. It seems that all of our focus is on Honduras in the for their cup final. Or sorry, not cup final, league final. This is the second leg. It's taking place presumably in Olimpia's ground, which I think is in the capital. Motagua lost 3-1 at home. Do you think they've not beaten Olimpia all season? They need to win 3-1 or 4-1 or 3-0. Would also work. What do you think's going to happen, Redmond?
So it's 2-1 to not Motagua.
2-1 to CD Olimpia. I think they're going to really put on a show in front of the home crowd. I think we're going to see a 4-0 or a 5-1. I'm going to say 5-1 for Olimpia in the final. They've been the best team by a long way in their group in the semis. They had the only real stickies they had one draw with Motagua and somebody else in their division or in their group. They had a draw with Vida. I think they're bringing it home. I think it's going to be a blowout for Olimpia.
And they're going to raise the cup. They're just going to raise it.
Well, those two games are on Sunday night at, 22 hours 30 and 23 hours all times Central European time, as always. Redmond, let's talk about a game this evening. Aston Villa play Liverpool in the FA Cup third round. This is the round they both come in at. This is taking place in England. It's on at 20 hours 45 tonight on it being the 8th of Redmond. Please sit near where anybody can see you.
The last time I saw Aston Villa play Liverpool, they won 7-2.
They did. And before that, they played in the League Cup last year. They played other games last year as well. But in the League Cup, Aston Villa won, I think it was 5-0. But this was about this time when they were playing against basically a team of youth players, because they were Liverpool's serious team had gone off to play in the World Club Championship. 5-0 was probably a bit generous to Aston Villa. But Aston Villa are playing well this year. They seem to be on it. But again, Liverpool more so again, even though they lost 7-2 to Aston Villa. What do you think is going to be...
Do they have the good players back?
Liverpool, as far as I know, do. But sometimes the big teams in England, they don't always play all their best players when they are playing in the Cups, because they don't want to get them injured. Currently, in terms of injuries for players, Trezeguet is a major injury for Aston Villa, as is Ross Barkley.
Gomez is injured.
And Wesley Moraes is also out for Aston Villa. For Liverpool, there's a few players out. Diogo Jota,
Gomez,
Joe Gomez, Matip,
Teuta, Virgil van Dijk.
So they still have an entire back four out for Liverpool. They're probably what I would have said their top three. Their top three central defenders are out for this game. Redmond, what do you think is going to happen?
It's going to be a 4-2 to Liverpool.
4-2 to Liverpool, he reckons. Ballsy.
Why is it ballsy?
I think it's going to be 1-1.
Oh.
And I think if they're having replays this year, they may not be. I think they should, but it might not be the case. Okay, stop. Just stop, please. Do one thing at a time.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. That's my prognosis of the game. Let's plough through a couple of other games taking place in Europe this week. We'll go to Germany tomorrow. That's the 9th of January at 15 hours 30. Mainz play host to their derby against Eintracht Frankfurt. Last year, funnily enough, 2019, we were actually both in Mainz and Frankfurt. We weren't there in time for football, but we got to tour with Mainz's stadium and have a look around Frankfurt's. Mainz have not been doing as well as they should be.
So what
they
place
are down towards the relegation places. Eintracht Frankfurt are doing okay, and they had a very good win last week against what are they called?
Chiesa.
No, they're playing Leverkusen, Redmond.
Leverkusen.
In terms of the table, Frankfurt around 8th. They're about 4 points off European places. Mainz are in relegation places, 4 points off of the relegation playoffs.
And guess what? Who else is in the relegation place?
Schalke.
Yeah.
Now, that's great. Redmond, could you give your thoughts on the game?
So I want Mainz to win, but I think Eintracht Frankfurt might win 3-0. I want Mainz to win, but
you think you're predicting 3-0 to Eintracht. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw because Germany just seems to be a place to score goals this year. And I think that's going to be a draw for the two sides. It being a derby, it's a big deal. Mainz raised their game greatly last week. They could win this. They need to start winning games.
They need.
Sticking these, by the way, are feature games. The Mainz one, obviously Liverpool, Aston Villa, Vllaznia, all those games, they're not features. Another European game happening. We're going to round out our European games with the next couple. It's the Italian Women's Cup final. This is our women's game for the week. Our women's game of the week. I'm afraid they're going to be mostly European for the time being because I can't find details on other leagues, unfortunately. But the Women's Cup semis took place during the week. Fiorentina beat Roma, I think, 2-1. Juventus beat AC Milan 2-1, or the other way around. Either way, the Women's Supercup final is taking place on Sunday at 12 hours 30. I think you might be able to watch it online. Juventus against Fiorentina. What do you think, Redmond? Who do you fancy for this?
So
they both, by the way, were the two teams who finished top last year, and they're both playing had Champions League football this year.
Who's second? Or?
This is not in the league. This is a cup. These were last year's top two teams. Ironically, the rivalry between these two is probably more real on the field than it is for the men's team. Fiorentina sit steady. Fiorentina's men's team fans tend to really, really value their rivalry with Juventus more than the Juve fans do. Who's going to win it?
So who's better? Is it Juventus or...
You have to say. I don't know. There haven't been enough games played this year. This is a cup. This is a Super Cup final.
So it's going to be 0-0 first half.
Go on.
Then 0-0. We're going to extra time.
Of course, we always go to extra time, even in league games. Carry on.
Then Juve scores a goal. And then Fiorentina scores a goal. Penalties.
Okay, please get on with it. Who's going to win the penalties?
It's Juventus.
Juventus to win the penalties. Okay, I'll try and annotate that accordingly. I think it's going to be a tight game. I'm going to say 2-1 again. It could go either way. I'm going to say the players like their scores during the week. Bonansea, who's one of my favourite women's players worldwide, and Giuli. Juve have too much firepower. Juve to win that. Also playing for Juventus on Sunday as well. This time at 20 hours 45 in the evening.
It is.
Juventus plays Sassuolo.
Sassuolo.
Redmond, how do you see that one going?
So each team's place?
God. Yes, each team's place. Every time.
Just to know.
The funny thing is, none of this will matter to him when he makes his decision, how they're placed. Juventus now over Sassuolo by a point with a game in hand. Juve's charge up the table, as you can imagine, has accelerated greatly since we've come back. It's like they're a different team. Maybe Pirlo brought them in over Christmas to make them work, but they're playing better together. Chiesa and Dybala have really been on fire since coming back. Ronaldo is Ronaldo. De Ligt is hard to believe he's a 21-year-old. Sassuolo, they have had a great start to the season, but they are slowly slipping. They lost heavily on Sunday to Atalanta
5-1.
So what do you think is going to happen, Redmond?
So Juventus is in their charge. So I think Sassuolo lost their last game very heavily. It's going to be a tight game, 2-1 Juventus.
2-1 Juventus, he reckons. Finally, in terms of his games, we have Grenada hosting Barcelona on Saturday night, 9th of January at 18:30 Central European Time. Barcelona pulled up considerably. They're now third in the third in the table. I'm looking at it right now. Grenada have been doing really well. They've lost 2 of their last 5, but they're in 7th, which is pretty impressive. Barcelona hasn't lost in their last 5. They drew 2 of their last 5, won the rest of them to go into 3rd. There's a 7-point gap between the two. Grenada have scored 19 goals to Barcelona's 33. Barcelona have conceded 17, which is huge, especially when you consider Atletico have only conceded 6 so far this season, although Atletico have played 2 games less and are 7 points clear of them. Redmond, Barcelona against Grenada.
So I think it's going to be another tight game. It's going to be about 3-2 to Barcelona.
3-2 to Barcelona again.
Grenada's just wanting those goals and just trying to figure a way.
Messi's back. Barcelona still aren't playing well, but they are winning. So based on their win against Athletic Club, I would say they're going to win this one 3-1.
Me too, I
think
said 3-2.
So we always allow, because Redmond takes 4 hours to tell any scores. The feature for the week is the I-League in India. Yes, the I-League, not the second division of India. You've all heard of the Indian Hero Super League, which is kind of like the NASL of Indian football. It's not really connected up to the rest of the leagues, and I don't think you even qualify for the majors for the Champions League of Asia if you win that. You do if you get through the I-League. The winners and the runners-up last year both got shunted up to the Super League, which is kind of rude, which means that the I-League, which is the actual top division in India, is starting off with 11 teams this season. It's very hard to say who's going to be the big team. With East Bengal and Mohun Bagan gone, it's anybody's guess. I think Punjab did well last year. Punjab, as far as I can recall, are managed by Curtis Fleming, an old League of Ireland and Irish international player. Yes, he played for Middlesbrough, for those of you who only know English football.
I-League versus Kickoff.
No, that is me noting it down, because there are approximately 5 games, and I don't know anything about most of these teams apart from managers and stuff like that, which I can find out on Wikipedia. But I wanted to introduce the notion of the I-League, because I am going to pay a bit of attention to that this year. The Super League is going on at the moment. The Super League is a strange, strange creature. Would you sit in so people can know that you're in the game?
Why is it a strange...
We're not looking to predict the I-League. Ow! That was not necessary, Redmond. That was very sore. We're not looking to predict the I-League this week because, again, it's only kicking off. But I do want to bring people's attention to it because it's a major competition in the heart of India. It is possibly the biggest, one of the 2 biggest countries in the world, undoubtedly. Football is behind cricket. The Indian Premier League is going to get a lot more interest than the I-League. And the Super League there, which is kind of the glamour league, is as well. But this is the main one. So, moving on from the I-League, we're going to round up with our last 2 proper previews of the week. We'll stay in Asia first, with the game taking place on Monday afternoon at 14:05. Esteghlal against Persepolis in Iran's top division. Esteghlal is are leading at the moment. Persepolis trailing somewhat, but it would be well worth noting that this is a major rivalry. Esteghlal from Tehran are Persepolis' major rivals and vice versa. This is a very balanced rivalry in the Persian Pro League. Redmond. Here's the table. Esteghlal, there were only 7 and 9 games in. Persepolis have only played 7 games and are on 11 points. So in theory, if they win their 2 games in hand against Esteghlal, they should actually be a point behind them. But if they win today, if Persepolis win in Esteghlal and then they win their 2 games in hand, they go top. Well, they go ahead of Esteghlal. There's where they're at. There's little in it. Persepolis have a better defence. Esteghlal have a much better attack. I have to say it's going to be Esteghlal. I think it's going to be 1-0. I think it's going to be an incredibly tight game, and I suspect it will not be the most exciting game, but it will be one of the most passionate games played in Iran this year.
I think it's going to be also 1-0.
To?
No, 1-0.
To whom?
To A-League.
Esteghlal?
Esteghlal.
Okay, he's going for the big hitters. And also jumping sideways across, we are going to Nigeria, who's also kicking off their league this year. Their last season was cancelled because of the COVID after something like 24 or 25 games. They worked out by points earned per game who was going to go into the CAF Champions League, and Plateau United went in there, but they've got a feel hard. I think in 2016, their second season there, they won the league for the first time. They didn't have a great season the following season, but that season was cancelled. Sorry, that was their second 2018 season was cancelled because of administrative difficulties. That normally means corruption. I don't know if it does in the case there. I think it was the involvement of Goodluck Jonathan, the president of Nigeria. His interference with the league, I think, undid the league for that season, if I recall correctly. The following season, they didn't do so well. And last season, they were something like 9 points clear, and the league was cancelled. This feels like what nearly happened to Liverpool this season past. They're starting off the brand new season against an okay team called Heartland Owerri. They haven't really pulled up trees during the last seasons, but new season, new opportunities. I'm going Plateau 2-0 win to start, and hopefully they get going and take the league by storm. Redmond, Heartland against Plateau.
Heartland is the lower team, the underdog.
The underdogs, and they're also playing away.
So that's a 3-0.
Oh, 3-0 to Plateau. Okay, well, those are our tips for the week. We'll try and see as many games as we can. I think we're going to get to see Liverpool and Aston Villa tonight if I can manage it. And I'm keen to see Mainz and Frankfurt. I think the Women's Cup final in Italy, if not Juventus, Sassuolo. Apologies, by the way, as always, for the errors in these typeouts. They're normally scribbled down hastily on the computer in the moments before, in the hopes that we can actually get them up on time. And I'm going to go over and leave yous with this. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you the next day, which should be Tuesday coming. Bye.
Bye-bye.